Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming at you in another video. Alright, so I'm doing a therapy session this morning. It's 5 a.m. I hope everybody is still asleep because I have a strange body clock. So if you don't have to get up early for work, or you don't have a workout schedule, or you ain't ambitious to the point where you need to be up this early, yeah, get some rest. Don't have yourself waking up before the sun does if it ain't absolutely necessary, in my humble opinion. Unless you're an early bird and you love it like that. I happen to not, but yeah, I went to sleep about 10:30 and my body does this, so I'm up. I gotta get to bed at like midnight if I want to wake up at like 8 in the morning. Anyway, what are we talking about? I don't know, man. Let's see, what was I thinking? It was two things that I had in my mind that I was gonna bring to the table. I have some things I gotta learn about in order to become who the world wants me to be in regards to a specific topic. I cannot relate to bigotry and racism and all of that other stuff. I don't identify nor understand the energy and the spirit behind that. I'm a pretty authentic person. I think you guys know that I don't have a problem speaking my mind on anything. I've made myself look smart and stupid on this camera enough times, I think. And if you go through enough of my videos, you'll see me displaying my ignorance and some pretty solid wisdom too. There's balance to be had. Half of these videos I probably would love to edit, and I probably cringe for watching, and most of them, to be honest with you, I have not watched more than once. I think I've watched all of them once though, except for one of the therapy sessions I did not get a chance to listen to just because I got busy and never went back to it. But I intend to watch everything I've ever done at some point again, which I don't know if I'll actually be able to do. But the point is, we live, we learn, we grow. Sometimes people will take something that you said a million years ago, bring it back up, slap it on the screen for everybody to see, and they will attach whatever you said to your name, and that'll be who you are. And while that's a norm that we live with, and I think my understanding doesn't allow me to understand if that logic really makes any sense or not. I don't know if that applies or not, as in terms of if the math works for that. I don't know. But what I can say is, looking at the entire situation, I don't know. I really don't know. If anything, I just want to see some people get to a point where we can know the difference between right and what is told to us as right. I guess is where my head just immediately jumps. And I struggle with something because in my heart, in my true heart, there's one of these things, one of these virtue things, that even when I try to break it down, I honestly cannot tell right from wrong. This is the one thing I legitimately cannot see it yet. I will admit that if there's a dark to be in, I'm in it. And it has to do with the LGBTQ communities embrace of their truth as it comes to pass when they come out and they speak on it. It's something I don't know if morally I have come to the conclusion that I'm viewing it the right way versus the way that the world is telling me to view it. And as I try to filter it through my mind, it's not coming out as it should. It's just not coming out right. As I filter it through the Brandon brain, it doesn't filter in a way that all the other things that are easy for me to tell right from wrong do. And I don't know if it's just because this particular topic has been, disrupted in my mind in such a way because I was raised a certain way. So as being raised a certain way, maybe because of the way I was raised, I just really don't view it the way the world wants me to view it. There's a part of me that's looking at how the world, and when I say the world, I mean as it pertains to when we all agree that something is right and wrong, and then you see corporate and we've talked about this a lot, try to apply their methods of marketing to cater to what it is that the people want, or the norm, or whatever the world is changing to be. Most of the time when I see what they're doing, I get it. But when as it pertains to this particular topic, it just don't come out as good. It goes in my head as this is what they want you to see as morally correct, and it comes out as, now I don't know exactly why it doesn't come out as good, and this is where it comes to me. This is why. There's so many different parts of this conversation that help me articulate my understanding or the misunderstanding better than I'm able to right now, but I'll give it a shot, so please bear with me. When we talk about children, let's just go into this part of it. When you talk about children, for example, we talk about Dwayne Wade, let's just single them out for the sake of the conversation because of Zaya and her identity. We respect Zaya as a child. I don't know what her choices are. I don't know what her choices are. I listen to I read what I read, and I see what it says in regards to her biological parent, her maternal biological parent, speaking out against what she feels is Zaya's inability to make choices for herself as it pertains to her identity and how she wants to go about doing so. Although it appears to me that Zaya is embracing and maybe even spearheading, how she's being marketed and viewed and presented to the world. I think that the young person has a lot to do with that, but I don't know that. You know what I mean? I also fathom a world where there's about 70 people behind the scenes picking and choosing every little thing for that young person in order for that young person to display this image that appears to be free and have support from her parents. But if the mother parent has a different opinion as it pertains to what she's experiencing as Zaya's mom, what's right in the situation? Am I looking at Zaya and I'm saying the machine has it right in pressing forth the idea that this young lady should be viewed as an adult, and as such her identity should be as applied or as displayed, and we should respect that? Not only respect that, but embrace whatever comes our way as it pertains to the images of the child. Is the child protected, or is the child involved in a bigger marketing agenda to get people like myself to have these thoughts filter out as good as they apply them into my head? You see what I'm saying? It's like they want me to love and agree and respect and embrace. But as I use my logic to take in what they're giving me, all it comes out is, I'm not sure how to look at it. I don't know how to look at it because I don't know that what they're trying to push onto us and our children is actually good. Now, embracing people is good. Allowing people to be themselves and how they love is good. Not keeping people from being able, and this is a very important part for me. I don't know where they are with the laws now. I just don't know, and it should be updated to where this is no longer a thing. But there should never be a reason why a person should not be able to be present for their loved one as family because of their sexual preference and relationship in that situation. I never thought that you should keep somebody out of the hospital room or keep them from being able to sign off on things if they're somebody's person. You know what I mean? Just because they are not identified in a way that is straight. You understand what I'm saying? So I felt like the laws and all that stuff should be fixed so people can have, rights to their loved ones. That's important to me. When I think about that, I filter it out. It comes out as green. It's absolutely right. This is good. You got to make sure that everybody has the ability to have rights to their loved ones. See, when I put that in my head, that's good. We got to deter bullying. We have to deter people from applying their hatred to people. So if you're attacking somebody because of their differences in life, we got to deter that in all walks of life. Filter that through my head, comes out as good. But see, there's certain parts of this that don't come out as good. the Zaya Wade situation comes out as question mark. That doesn't pass the Brandon moral mind factor. It doesn't, because what ends up happening is I find myself confused as to whether or not the child is in a position of strength as it pertains to what is going on. And if they're trying to make changes on the behalf of the child, how much of that is being encouraged versus the child in feeling inside that it's time to do something, or this, or in this way? Are they allowing for Zaya to go backwards in her decision making in regards to whatever it is she's presenting to the world? Or is it too late for her to say, you know what, I think I'm feeling a different way now? Would she get some pushback for saying, you know what, this image that we've been putting up for me all my childhood life, I think I want to take a different approach? Is that okay? Will there be some resistance based on it not being what they've invested so much into? This child is supposed to identify a certain way. If she decides not to identify that way no more, what did we just invest all this into? See, that's what hurts the mind when I try to filter that part through. It's like, nah, something's wrong there. I don't know what is wrong there, but when I think about it, it ain't right. I haven't prayed about it. I'll admit I've prayed about a lot of things. This ain't one of them. But I don't filter that morally the way that the world would like me to. Here's another thing. When the guy comes out, they just announced that one of the basketball players in the NBA, a guy by the name of Humphreys, not Chris Humphreys, who was attached to Kardashians in the past. No, he's a different individual. I don't think I'm actually familiar with him. I don't think so. You guys know how much I follow the NBA. I don't know if the guy, but now I do, because they've used one of their many platforms to express to me him coming out. And I look in the comments section and I look at the reactions to it, and there's two reactions. There's the I don't care, and there's the I'm disappointed. The I don't care looks like bad guys, right? Because they're not embracing the fact that this person is brave and coming out and showing the world that they're not afraid to take on the scrutiny of being who they are, which is something we're supposed to embrace. As I filter it, it's fine. You know what I mean? It's not the most important thing that filters through my brain, but I can see the importance once you consider people getting punished, and you think about people who had lost their lives just because of who they are, and you think about all the different hate crimes that have happened. It's like, yeah, it's totally okay for a group to get that type of energy and then to come out, you know what I mean, like bragging, come out, you know what I mean? Just like I said about black folks, you treat us a certain way and then we find out who we are and it's bam. Yeah, I want you to know it, I want you to know it, I want everybody to know it, and I want y'all to know to respect me because of it. So from that point of view, filter through, he comes out, tells us, congrats, bro. Because I know the world that's coming at you is crazy. And there's a million people who ain't gonna say congratulations, they gonna give you the finger because of it. So for that, I filter it through my mind, I say, yeah, it's cool, he came out all right, man. I see the respect from my end because I understand what's coming at him. I'm a black man, so I don't get to hide my skin. So whatever's coming at me is coming at me, right? But if I were a gay person, maybe, depending on my type of personality or what have you, maybe I'd be able to hide that and kind of keep some of that from the world. So choosing not to hide that could be considered brave. You know, it could be considered like you did something really, really, really important, an example for others to kind of come out and not live in the shadows and not be depressed or whatever. So, hey, I get that part. Filter it through my head, come out, is cool. What I don't necessarily filter properly is why in the hell am I finding out about a basketball player that I've literally never heard of for the very first time because of who he loves. And now I'm either looked at as either a bad guy for not caring about the situation, or according to the way it's supposed to be, I'm supposed to be disappointed at those people who do not care. And when I filter that, I'm like, nah, that don't come out right. That feels like a forced agenda. And because I'm not reacting to it properly, I'm now deemed a bad guy. Sort of like the anti-S word. It's like, oh, so you can just apply that to anybody, right? Anybody that doesn't necessarily vibe, you can put them all the way in the category of homophobic. And to me, that's just a word that isn't defined properly. Just like the other hate word that isn't defined properly. You can put it on people it don't deserve to be on, and then do to them whatever you want to do to them without any end, because they've applied that hate word. And so this is another one of them things where it's like, nah, you filter that out through my little brain, and I say, nah, that comes out as an X. That's wrong. That's not good. That's fake good. That's fake virtuing. That's not real virtuing. I have a right to not give a damn about that random dude coming out, and I don't have to be confused about who I am and say I'm a homophobe or somebody that doesn't appreciate people coming out, or saying that this is anything other than just the most brave thing I've ever seen. It's not. It's really not. What it is an agenda that is being forced upon me, because they're making a player famous who I've never heard of. When I follow the NBA very closely, they're only making him famous because he identifies a certain way. And to me, no, that's not right, because literally anybody can come out and now they're famous because of it. No, that's not right. That's not right. That don't filter properly. Nope, that's wrong. That can be manipulated. That can be toyed with, and it has been a lot. I do believe there's a gay agenda. I think there are some people who've taken it way too far. I think there's some people who want access to everyone. That period, right? Because there are people who they can't have. Just like as a straight person, there's people I can't have because there are people who are not going to want me first, and second of all, who are not going to prefer me. Do you understand what I'm saying? Preference-wise. No matter how handsome I think I am, no matter how rich I think I am, I ain't they type, and that's cool. I think, this is my little theory, I think there are some people behind the scenes who don't like that, who happen to identify as gay. They don't like that. They're offended by that. They think they should be able to have access to all humans. Everybody should be bi so that they have access to those people. I really believe that's the agenda. They're trying to have access to more of what it is that they want. What is that in my mind? It's a God complex. It's the same evil crap that we talk about in another way applied here. It's the same evil. They want everyone to be available to them. Even though they can't have everybody, the notion that they can't have everybody is a problem. Everybody needs to prefer like them so that they can all be accessible to anyone that they prefer. And that, my friend, is what I think the agenda actually is. It's not good. Do you know why that's not good? There's a million reasons why that's not good. But I can tell you when I filter through my head and I think about why is that not good? Because it takes away the preference aspect of it. Now you're instilling in people's head a certain way to be. And you're saying that if they're not that way, then they're wrong. So what that ends up doing is coercing people into doing things that are not right for them and allowing people to take advantage of them based on it. Controlling them. In my mind, it's sort of like the situation we're seeing with Kyrie Irving. They're telling him, hey, I don't care if you denounce the movie or not in your heart. You had better use the words, I denounce the movie, or we're going to continue to apply pressure. Well, that's not really that's not inspiring him to change. He's not actually feeling it like anything he saw in the movie is bad. You don't care about that, though. You just want him to act and align with the way that people act when they denounce a movie so that you can be comfortable with the environment you're in with them next to you. And in my mind, that's what we're looking at here. They want the world to be what it is they want it to be, so they're going to instill in our hearts and minds certain norms. And a lot of people aren't going to try to use the filter system through themselves. They don't have a filter system or what have you. They're just going to take what it is that they're being told, and they're going to apply it as good or bad. And if it doesn't vibe with their spirit, they'll just fight that, because they don't really know no other way than to believe what it is that everyone else around them believes. And I just understand that there are people at the top who understand that and continue to apply it accordingly. And so people like myself who think on the opposite side of that often try to point out the opposite of that and try to show people things that I probably not meant to see in regards to the situation. I try my very best. But in regards to the situation, I'm not saying that I'm certain everything's bad. I'm just telling you certain aspects of this thing. It doesn't pass the test. It just doesn't. I look at this situation, I'll say, okay, fine. Let's move on from that. The basketball player, great. He came out. We know who he is. Hopefully he gets more opportunities on the basketball floor. Hopefully this propels his career in a positive way. Because we've seen in the past people come out and they don't go right at all. They'll celebrate him for a couple weeks, then dude get cut 2 weeks after that. You never hear from him again. That's what usually happens to these guys. But there seems to be a big machine behind supporting them when they come out. But afterwards, you never hear from them again, especially the sports athletes. So I look at it and I say, look, you can have a situation where, like Black Lives Matter, it can start with good intentions, and by the time you're done with it, it's just money laundering all over the place, and rarely any love for what it is that was initially intended. And so that's what I think about a lot of these agendas as it pertains to the community over there. A lot of the stuff that's going on that's being applied to you is about mind control. They're trying to create an environment not only where you can not be bullied, but where you can literally dictate all things. I really believe that. I believe that, and this is going to sound very bad, and I don't want to say it the wrong way, because I really do care that people get offended. But it is what it is, man. Gay is the new Jew. You cannot mess with those two. And if you do, you're going to feel the fire. It just is what it is. And they're going to use those two topics to apply an understanding that you're hateful. I have to throw black in there too. I would not be right if I didn't throw black in there too. Black is there too, because they do the same thing with black. You say the wrong words in regards to these topics, you hit the public in a way that those behind the scenes don't respect in regards to these topics. And you're going to feel a wrath. You're going to feel that Kanye Kyrie wrath. You know what I'm saying? If you don't vibe properly with what it is that they want you to do. I worry about Dwayne Wade, Gabrielle Union, and Zaya Wade. If they decide, you know what, we ain't on this no more. If they go back and say, yo, Zaya is now identifying as a straight boy and we're going to move forward, I don't think it's going to go well for them. I think they receive some serious pushback. That's what I worry about in regards to the Wade family. I think they get some serious pushback. I think the machine is very much enriched in what they're doing there, and they had better stay gay, literally. I really believe that, and I'm scared for them in that regard. Because I'm just looking at how the media is used and controlled, and how they use these platforms to tell us certain things. They prop people up, tell us people are great. They toss people down, tell us everything bad about them, and tell us things about these people that just flat out describe them as the worst types of people, when all they really had was a difference in an opinion, or they stepped away from something that didn't filter properly through their own minds. And I just think that it's okay to have something filtered through your mind. It doesn't go through the first time, and then maybe next time you see it, you apply a different set of wisdom, and it does make sense a little later. It's possible. People do change. But if it ain't organic change and it's just ordained change, or if it's just suggestive, subliminal, psychological bullcrap that's being done on high to try to get people to see what good and evil is and what bad and good is, when they're not defining it properly all up and down the board, because they want to be able to do things a certain way and it doesn't necessarily vibe with the real definitions of good and evil. So they create their own, alternate facts. Yeah, that's what that is. It's how they operate. Remember, it doesn't matter whether you agree or not. You got to comply with people like this. So what I always say is, as a person of color, black person, I fit one of those groups. I'm not a Jewish person. I don't identify as alternate sexual or identification or any of that. I'm a straight dude. But I belong in one of those three groups. So I got to understand, when certain things are applied to my benefit, it still has a spiked jacket on it. That means everybody who hugs it is going to get poked. Now, I could wear it. It's going to feel great while I'm wearing it. But everybody else, you're going to get hurt by it. It's not meant for your benefit. It's only meant to make me be a hub for your morals. Don't cross it type stuff. And it's just, I don't know. Where does it end? Where does it begin? Where does independent thought start taking place as opposed to the teachings of the corporate parent? That's what I call them. The corporate parent. They're teaching us right from wrong, you know. You must respect this. You must not respect that. This is what you consider when you're bad. This is what you consider when you're good. Except for it doesn't read energy properly when defining these things. It does not. It is completely bankrupt in regards to reading energy, and we can see that up and down the board. So I look at the negative aspect of it and see how they're doing Kanye and Kyrie with the Jewish topic. And I look at the positive aspects using those same platforms and these same people using their same voices to apply positivity to the LGBTQ community. And then when I look at it and I realize, yeah, no, that's not. The two things don't equate. If they're doing bad over here, they're probably doing bad over there too. So when I listen to the people that tell me that people who speak like I do are disappointing because we don't embrace all that there is to embrace in regards to the news or what have you about them or whatever it is coming out. And what I say is, this is part of that. This is why, because I look and I say there's some subliminal, suggestive stuff going on here that is not meant to help anyone. It's like a spike jacket around the group of those who it benefits. And anybody who touches it gets pricked, gets stabbed, gets destroyed. It is not meant for everyone to feel good. It's meant to isolate people to feel the way they should so that things can operate the way that they want it to operate. And so I'm not with any of that. I'm going to speak against it every time. I embrace people though, man. I like people being happy. I like people being able to live free and die with smiles on their faces, so to speak, you know, without being so morbid, I guess. But like, I don't want people to be unhappy in life. I don't want you to sit up here and be miserable so that my filter can make sense. It's not what I'm asking you to do. But what I don't want is to be lied to about my own intentions when I'm trying to sort through things that I'm not sure about. You know what I mean? Like literally. Not sure. Definitely not a hater. But I don't think goodness is defined the way they want me to define it as it pertains to this conversation. I have a hard time with it. I think when you choose to lay down with someone, it's just that. If you choose to make them your partner, it's just that. I think we're in a world where we treated the people a certain way, so as a result, people react a certain way. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the way that they should react, if not for the presence of whatever was there. It's an overreaction to negative energy. That's what I'm saying to you. So I think when you look at the overreaction, you realize too much has been given. Too much is being let out. It needs to be some tempering to kind of help balance things. And I just don't know that corporate, from a subliminal standpoint, cares for any balance in regards to the LGBTQ conversation. They want full compliance, full acceptance, or you're an absolute homophobe. No in between. And to me, it's always incumbent upon those who are wearing that spike jacket to see how that's bad for all of us. Because if you don't see it and you only appreciate your benefit from it, then the evil continues on because of it. It's literally that simple. It needs to be people who benefit from it to say, you know what, just because I do doesn't mean that it works. That's why it always works, because it's always the selfishness within the group to feel exalted and to feel appreciated that always ends up keeping the bull crap going. Has to be the ones on the inside saying, yeah, it feels good, but this is bad, because it's bad for everybody. And until we get to a point where we're intelligent enough of people within our groups to think this way, they're always going to be able to keep control over us by way of what it is that we appreciate in our own self-exhaustion as groups and individuals. This is how it always controls you. This is how evil controls you in every level possible. It takes what it is that's in your heart to exalt yourself, and it allows you an opportunity to do that at its own, so long as you're doing it with it. You know what I'm saying? You can have all that you want in life, but the moment you denounce the evil, it's all gonna go away. Think of the $8 billion that they gave Ye. Once you don't do what it is they say, it all goes away. Every level of evil all operates the same way. So I can see the parallels, even though these conversations don't necessarily attach. It's still evil. It's all evil because it all behaves the same way. Devil don't change the playbook, man. Never does. So that's why it's important we filter everything, because he's very much involved in these subliminal messages. He's very much involved in these corporate structures. He's very much involved in the corporate parenting system, defining evil and good for you left and right, improperly. Gotta look for it, gotta see it, gotta undo it. So yeah, more power to the LGBTQ community. I encourage all of you to continue to live your lives the way that you want to. We have to work around this crap. This is not for you to take steps backwards in your group or start, covering up and being in the closet and all that just because this is something that you've heard me say. Nah, that's not what I want you to do. We gotta be able to do all. We gotta be able to have people be comfortable in themselves and be able to have these conversations to balance it out. We don't need to get rid of anything. We just need to have more conversations like this. So they're missing conversations and situations. That's it. People don't have to always react. We just need to provide the right amount of conversation to balance out what it is that's being provided. Understand that a lot of stuff that we're doing are natural reactions to behavior that it wasn't good. And you know what we're reacting to? Applied plans by the corporate parent that has worked in the past and has warped our minds and confused us and now had us acting up, treating people poorly, treating people who were alternate as different because that was what was agreed upon in those days. See what I'm saying? They stirred up the hate that is now being overreacted to. Yes, it's all created by them, which is why we need to stop that domino effect. We need to see that those dominoes are still falling from crap that they did 400 years ago and literally stop it. And it's how you do it. You know what I'm saying? It's exactly how you do it. I'm going to say something to Dwayne Wade. I'm going to speak directly to him, although I don't think he'll ever see the video. Say lots of prayers for your child, sir. Because there's some stuff going on there that ain't right. And I don't know that you're any wiser to it because you're in the limelight. You're a celebrity. You're a star. You got all this going on. It's all beautiful. You got the celebrity wife. It's all this, that, and the third. But I'm telling you, brother, if your child decide to say, you know what, I'm straight, a lot of the glamour goes away. They're not going to embrace that. They're not. I can feel it in my soul. They will not. They will look at that person as a betrayer. And that's not going to filter properly through minds like mine because I know that that's not true. But that's exactly how it's going to be seen. You are not real gay. You're fake. You said you were something. You're not really that. They already started that crap when they saw young Zaya kissing a young man who was once born a lady. I think that's how the young person identifies. We saw that picture out and everybody was running around. Oh, Zaya really likes this. Not really. And I'm like, look, man. This is the problem with how they've been marketing the child. If for some reason the child decides that they want to do something different, it's going to be attention on that. It's not right, man. I don't care what nobody says. There's something very wrong with making that child the face of the young LGBTQ community. That doesn't filter properly. There should be no young face to a sexual preference. It's sexual. It's a preference. Children don't prefer anything. That's why statutory rape is in place. So what exactly are we talking about? See, when we talk about identity and all these things, yes, it's identity. Yes, people identify. But in a lot of these identification cases, not all, and it's important that you know that I know not all, but in a good portion of these identification cases are attached to a sexual preference. It's about who they want to lay down with. It's about who they want to fornicate with. It's about who they want to do porno things with. What are we suggesting when we're using the image of this child? It doesn't filter properly. That don't come out right. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's all wrong. I should not be exalted for who I choose to do pornography or fornication or however you look at it. Those are adult behaviors, adult preferences, adult decisions. This is a child. But if I listen to corporate, I'm supposed to embrace this. That's supposed to filter out as good. It does not. It very much doesn't. In fact, it comes out as sneaky, evil, pedo, to be honest. It's a step away from pedophilia, if you ask me. It's a suggestive way. I was looking at these pictures that they got. This young girl, what's her name? Marseille. She just turned 18, but everybody's getting on her case. She's now doing things for different companies that do lingerie and skimpy clothes and stuff like that. The major companies. At this point, she's now starting to be a brand model for these companies. I look at it the same way. She's a youngster. She literally just turned 18 like 10 minutes ago. Then now I'm supposed to immediately look at her as a woman? That's wrong. That's not right. And as they say, as it's being filtered, people are agreeing that is wrong. It's not right. Right? We're looking at it the right way, I believe. Most people are looking at that and say, yo, there's something a little off about that. Maybe we should wait a little longer to make her a brand ambassador, maybe. Give her some time. But when it comes to Zaya Wade, it's an entirely different conversation, entirely different story, but it seems like the same thing to me. It seems like the same thing. Not as much skin shown, but suggestive. See what I'm saying? Marseille's in a full bodysuit and they're tripping. It's suggestive. It's not showing any skin, but it suggests a sexual nature. We ain't comfortable with it. But with Zaya and the identity, promotion, and the I'm the biggest, I don't know. I don't filter properly. It's just it goes through the branding head and it comes out, that's wrong. Nah, they're telling me it's right. It's not right. So these are things that's like, look, it's important these conversations be had. And when you see me, you understand these things. You're not looking at somebody who's hates anybody. You're also not looking at somebody who's just going to listen to the corporate parent and say, your definition of hate is accurate. Your definition is good is the same one I have. And it adds up even when it doesn't. And I'm rolling because everybody else is rolling. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm from a world where people agreed to stuff that don't make no damn sense for many, 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 many years. And then change their mind as they continue to learn. So I'm supposed to believe that everything right now is supposed to be agreed upon and not challenged, even though we've behaved that way since the beginning of time. Nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not going to roll with that. I'm going to continue to filter things through my mind as I should. And if it makes sense, it makes sense. If it don't, it don't. You couldn't have told me that slavery made sense in the 1700s. Because I'd have filtered it through my mind and saw that it didn't make no damn sense. That's basically what I'm here to tell you. There'd have been a lot of people who agreeing to that, didn't question it, look at you crazy for questioning it, look at it weird for you not having it, having slaves if you had a certain amount of money or what have you. You're strange. Like, why wouldn't you? And I'm telling you, I would have filtered that through my head and said, we are all going to hell in a handbasket for how we're treating these people. This is wrong. They shouldn't be treated this way. These conditions are crazy. And if there's a God in the sky, we're going to burn. That would have been my thought. I don't know how everybody else was looking at that back then. I'm sure there was plenty of people who thought of it that way, but not enough. That's why it lasted so long. There's enough people who were sitting there quiet, even wondering, trying to figure out if it filtered properly. You know, they set up 5 a.m. and said, should I really be doing this? Is this really right for us? But you know what they did? They rolled over, went back to sleep, woke up, and kept being slave owners. They didn't challenge the status quo. They didn't challenge the norms of the day. They didn't listen to that filter they had, see something come through, and then do something about it. They saw that things were coming out red. They accepted them as green and kept it pushing. I believe a lot of people are doing that here today. They need to stop. My name is BDF 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.